Hi, love. Welcome back. This is the Awakening Self-Worth podcast, and we are starting episode 2. This is Jess from Sensitive Women Rising, and I am so excited that you're joining us today. Today's episode is one of the most important conversations that we're going to have because we're going to uncover the invisible childhood wound that controls your self-worth. Have you ever felt like you wanted to be confident, but deep down, something inside you keeps holding you back? You're almost afraid to be seen or something like that. That's because self-worth isn't just a mindset issue. It's an inner child wound. For so many sensitive women, we've been told that we're too much, too sensitive, too emotional. We've been conditioned to shrink ourselves to feel safe. Over time, we start to believe, maybe I'm just not enough. But here's the truth. Your fear of being seen isn't a personality trait. It's not who you are. It's just a self-protection mechanism that your nervous system created a long time ago. In today's episode, we're going to talk about why your inner child wound is still holding you back. We're also going to talk about how our fear of rejection is actually a fear of being visible. And we're going to do a simple reflection exercise to start healing this wound. If you've ever struggled with self-doubt, people-pleasing, perfectionism, this episode's for you. So let's dive in. I want to start with a question. What's scarier to you, failure or being seen for who you really are? For so many sensitive women, we think we fear rejection. But deep down, what we're really afraid of is visibility. Because being truly seen means that people will have opinions about us, that we can't control how they're going to respond, and that we might disappoint someone. If you grew up feeling like love and acceptance were conditional, like you had to be quote unquote good or quiet or helpful or easy to be around to be loved, then your nervous system has learned that hiding was safer than being seen. Maybe you had a parent who shamed you for being too emotional. Or maybe you learned that your big feelings made people uncomfortable. Maybe you were only praised when you were achieving, not just for being you. So your inner child adapted. She learned to shrink, people please, perfect, or hide because it felt safer. And even though you're grown now, that same little girl still lives inside you. She still fears that if she's seen, she'll be judged. This is why no amount of positive affirmations or confidence tips seems to stick. Because at the root of low self-worth isn't just negative thinking. It's a nervous system wired for safety over self-expression. So let's talk about how this plays out in our lives. The fear of being seen doesn't just show up in big ways, like avoiding public speaking or staying small in your career. It sneaks into our everyday habits, okay? This may look like over-explaining yourself when you set a boundary, or holding back your real opinions because you don't want to upset someone. Maybe you play it small in your business because you're afraid of criticism, or maybe you feel anxious when you get attention, even for something good. These are all signs of an inner child who is still trying to be safe. Because here's the thing. When we were younger, acceptance was our survival. As children, we needed to be loved and accepted to get our basic needs met. So we internalized the idea that if we're not accepted, something bad will happen. That's why even as adults, the thought of disappointing someone or being judged can feel so overwhelming. Your body remembers what it was like to feel unsafe in your self-expression. But here's what I want you to hear today. You're not that little girl anymore. You don't have to live in that fear anymore. Healing begins when you start to reparent the part of you that is afraid. So I want to guide you through a simple but powerful exercise to help you start that healing process. I invite you to close your eyes for just a moment. Unless you're driving, don't do it then, please. Take a deep breath in and out. Now think back to a time in childhood when you felt like you had to shrink to be accepted. Maybe it was a moment when you were told to just stop being so sensitive. Or maybe it was a time when you felt embarrassed for expressing your emotions. Picture that younger version of you. See her little face, her big feelings. Now I want you to ask her, what were you afraid would happen if you were fully seen? What did you need to hear in that moment, but you didn't hear it? Take a moment to really listen to her. And now, as a wise, compassionate woman you are today, I want you to whisper to her what she needed to hear. Maybe it's, your feelings are never too much. Maybe it's, you are worthy just as you are. Or maybe it's, you don't have to be perfect to be loved. Let her hear your voice. And then when you're ready, take a deep breath and come back to the present moment. This is how we begin healing, by seeing the parts of ourselves that have been hiding for so long. Because the truth is, you were never too much, and you were never not enough. I hope this episode gave you a moment to reconnect with the part of you that's been waiting to be seen. If this resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to go deeper in this healing, my Anchored In program is designed for sensitive women like you who are ready to reclaim their worth. You are beautiful and you will always be enough. I hope you'll take that message with you today.